I'm Mike Sennett,
I'm Kyla Fury.
and we're the writing team for Wintermoor Tactics Club, and I also did the music.
So, right, can we get the idea of what Wintermoor Tactics Club is about?
Sure. So it's a cozy tactics RPG with a narrative focus. It's about a girl who goes to a boarding school in 1981, and she's in kind of the geeky tabletop gaming club where they play kind of a D&D type game. Until one day the principal declares a giant snowball tournament that all the clubs have to participate in, and if they lose, they're disbanded forever. So it's about them using their imagination to try to make these snowball fights into these grand fantasy battles where they can use magic spells and the opponents are monsters and things like that. And also about trying to explore the school and figure out what's really going on with the tournament and make friends and help people.
So we're a team of about 6 people, located in Seattle mostly. We have one full-time person who is our director and programmer, and then the rest of us have full-time jobs, and so this is kind of our nights and weekends gig. And we've been working on it a few years now, and we're getting very close to release. Our goal is to release in February of next year.
We are only officially announced on PC, so we'll see. It would be cool if it was also on some other things, and it is quite possible that might happen. Yeah.
What's one thing you want people to take away from seeing or playing your game?
That's a good question.
Friendship, a feeling of coziness, listening to other people, and like reaching out across, outside of your little comfort zone to try and make friends with people that maybe you wouldn't normally associate with.
Yeah, our game is, we want it to be a cozy and inviting game that can feel good and relaxing to play. But also, as a writing team, we tried to make it a metaphor for the internet and the ways that people are like overly insular and toxic to one another, and how it can be hard to overcome that, but it's something that's important. We wanted to make this kind of an introductory tactics game. I guess we still wanted to make it deep and interesting enough with enough expressivity and decisions so that people who love tactics games will love this too. But we wanted to also make it something with very low randomness, no randomness at all, something with smaller amounts of units on the field, something that's a little quicker to play and simpler to understand, so that people who don't have that experience with tactics games will be able to appreciate it too.
Yeah, we want it to be able to be someone's first tactics game. So if you're, really interested in games for their stories, but maybe you've never tried tactics before, it's something that's easy enough to pick up and to kind of get a hold on and get a handle on, that you can become good enough at it to get through it real quick. It's more interesting visually when you're playing a game to be casting lightning bolts than it is to be throwing snowballs, because all throwing snowballs kind of looks relatively the same, but if you're casting spells, then you can get a bunch of different interesting attacks for it.
Right, and also attacks and things that are more expressive of the characters and who they are and what their deal is.
Yeah, there's a lot of this that's kind of about expressing who you are on the inside, and that's part of what's great about D&D, right, and tabletop games, is that it gives you a chance to kind of express yourself through playing someone else, and so that's a big focus narratively of this game as well.
One of the premises of the story is that when a club is defeated in the snowball tournament, they're disbanded forever, and then the people in that club are sad, right? They don't really know what to do. They have trouble moving on, and so the main character feels empathy for them and wants to help them, and the way that she knows how to do that is that she's a writer, and she likes playing, Curses and Catacombs, our tabletop game that's popular in this universe. And so what she tries to do is she tries to write a special campaign for them that will kind of help them with their problems and, get them to overcome the thing that they're dealing with. And so for those portions where the character is writing something, we let the player do the writing. We, we didn't want to have any sort of really on the nose metaphor for a character's problem. So instead, we let the player kind of make their own metaphor.
Yeah. So you get a variety of different decisions about what you want to do as you're creating these different campaigns, and based on the choices you make, that will affect the writing, in the narrative scenes. But it can also affect elements of the combat. What final boss you're facing, what special power-ups or hazards you get in certain fights, things like that.
And that will, when it comes to like the people that join your party, that it also affects that a little bit too, right? Like the way they join your party, if they join your party at all, or like what they are capable of in your party.
Yeah, you can, depending on how you go out of your way to help people, you get different upgrades for them, and they gain different abilities and such. We kind of wanted to make it so that your upgrade screen, the character's inventory or their powers is kind of almost acts as a scrapbook, or sort of this collection of mementos of the ways that you've helped these characters and the things that they've done to try to develop and improve.
Yeah. And so the individual powers of the characters that you do recruit are also based on narratively which club they come from. So, for example, there's an equestrian team on campus. So if you beat the equestrian team, then you recruit a character who is good at mounted combat in the fantasy world and things like that. So your the character's previous experience, it affects what their capabilities are and what their power set is.
I do believe you mentioned that you are working with Versus Evil.
Yes.
What is it like to work with the folks behind the Banner Saga?
Oh, it's been great.
Yeah, they've been really good to us.
Yeah, they've been, I guess, letting us kind of do our thing with the vision of the game, and
and helping us with the pieces that we need, because we're such a small team. There's a lot of skill sets that we don't necessarily have among our group of half a dozen people. So they have helped us connect with some people that we need to get the final finished polish on the game, things like that.
Yeah.